You have to fight for your right to party. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and thank you, Raid, for sponsoring this video. We are here to talk about fighting in the arena. Now, this is a subject that came up, actually, I was talking with Nubs in one of his live streams, and we ended up talking about arena a little bit with a couple of other folks in there. I have had people ask about it occasionally as well, and so I wanted to give some tips and tricks to farming up your great haul in Classic Arena. Now, some of this stuff will translate to live arena as well, but for the most part, I'm going to ignore live arena and focus on your classic arena, because honestly, this is one you can control a lot better. You don't have to worry about people drafting champions out from under you. You don't have to worry about, do you think the person you're randomly facing is going to be too strong for you? You can pick who you're fighting. You can look and make a strategy and then attack them, because honestly, Classic Arena is very much a PvE mode wrapped up in player versus player. You get to control an awful lot about the fight, and for the most part, the only thing that is other players is the fact that other players are setting the defenses in the first place. So, why is the Classic Arena so important? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, right above me, you can see the champion bonuses right here with the bonus to HP, attack, and defense. Once you can get into Gold 5, that is a bunch of extra stats. So 22% HP, 22% attack, 20% defense, it's 20 in Gold 4. Gold 4 and Gold 5 are good places to sit in. It does definitely change a little bit. In fact, it goes up from, 1% at level 1. So it's not a huge difference here. We're talking 2% critical up here. And then, of course, Platinum is a 3% boost, so that gets up to 25%. But it exists, and that's definitely some free stats. But also, these affinity bonuses are huge, and they can be one of the more painful things to get, not Marius, but Ramantu. And getting Ramantu is definitely still a good goal, because Ramantu is still a useful champion in this game. He is certainly not the meta-defining champion he was right when he came out. But with Sheep becoming less of an issue, and with block passive skills and block active skills being so powerful, and the ability to strip being so powerful, he is still a very useful champion. I actually find he is a core part of my Lizardman Hard Faction Wars team on my main, and he's somebody I would like to get on this account as well, because he is definitely worth building and a very good champion. But on top of that, these are free stats. Again, free stats makes your account better. As you can see here, I have maxed out my accuracy here at 80, and I have maxed out my crit damage here. Which of stats are going to be important for who is going to depend on your account. Keeping in mind, accuracy is useful for a lot of champions. Resistance is useful for only champions that you are going to be pushing that resistance on. So resistance is either ultra important or not important at all. And unfortunately, it is one or the other. So I tend to let resistance slack until I'm at a point where I need to push resistance, and then I will push that up a little bit. Crit damage technically is one of the more niche things on here. That said, the bonuses you get from this in crit damage are significantly better than you get in any other area. Plus, for your damage dealers, this crit damage means a lot more than bonus whatever stat you're working for. So I generally find that accuracy and crit damage are the two ones I recommend most people kind of focus in on, and then work on HP and defense, and then work on attack. And then finally resistance, other than if you find a champion you need to build resistance in, you might go for a specific affinity. So say if you got like a Galathier, for example, I would certainly invest in Force here. If you have a couple of champions that are the same affinity that you're using for Mischief tanks, then you certainly might focus for this as well. Building a Titus team, you're probably going to want all of these resistances eventually anyway, just to help your account. There's all kinds of reasons for that. Accuracy is technically one of the most useful ones because it helps almost every champion. The problem is that accuracy has become so much easier to get with all the other sets that give you bonus accuracy in addition to bonus speed, that honestly, it's not like you need to really max that out to do everything you need to do on your account. That said, I don't regret going for the, magic accuracy right here. With Empress and, of course, Tholen, I decided to max out the Force one before I went with the magic one. Honestly, Spirit would probably be next as far as this goes as well, because I don't have a lot of damage dealers that are Force, and I do have a couple damage dealers that are Spirit that I certainly need to get up here. But again, after I get these three things done, I am probably going to spend, getting the rest of these things up to 6 before I start another one off to get it up to level 10. And that's because these are super cheap. Getting the medals for bronze, well, silver medals are worth 2 bronze medals. Gold medals are worth 4 bronze medals. So I could take this 491 thing I've got here, which to be fair is only just under halfway to get to the 1,000 gold I need to get this to level 10. And I could get all of these things to level 3, probably all of these things to level 4, maybe some of them to level 5, and still have some of these left over. I haven't done the math on that, so if I'm wrong, don't go at me too much. I can make these work much better for bronze and silver levels. So at the end, it makes sense to kind of ramp these things up a little bit and kind of spread them out. But definitely go for the number 1 here to get Arbiter, and definitely getting 3 of these when it seems reasonable when you're at the right spot for the Ramantu missions makes some sense as well. That is huge account progression just from dealing with the arena. So for Arena, that does mean you're going to focus on champions that are going to be built for Arena. Now, I put a poll out recently and did a video on me trying to figure out if I was going to go with Sanguine Maria or if I was going to go with Rhodos on this account as the first single target damage dealer I was going to build between the two of them because they are very similar. As you can see, I am working on Sanguine Maria. I do have Rhodos at level 50 and some of his masteries done, but I haven't booked him at all. I have booked a little bit of Sanguine Maria. And, I do have a soul for her as well, but I'll probably do a little bit of testing without the soul first before I put that on there. I believe I have a 1 or a 2-star soul that I either got from the shop or pulled. Regardless, they're both very nice to have. 1-star soul is honestly not going to really affect her too much other than make her significantly tankier. A 2-star soul will give her a bunch of extra attacks, so that's definitely helpful. But as a damage dealer, I've got her in my Savage gear. I've got her in crit damage gloves whenever I can manage it, because that's going to give me a lot of extra crit damage. And as you can see here, I don't even have everything rolled up, and I've got 208 crit damage. I can put another 40 on with rolling this up here. I've got some of this other gear that'll get finished up, rolled up at some point in time. I can ascend these 2 pieces here for another 38 crit damage, and I can get her to close to 300 crit damage with just a little bit of effort. And that is going to make the difference for somebody that is going to smack in Arena. So you're really looking for your damage dealers need to be in some of these ignore defense things, unless they have mechanics that let them ignore a ton of defense without it. For example, I could actually see a couple of Georgid builds where you actually don't put him in the Savage because he already ignores so much defense combined with Helm Smasher and maybe some other stuff you might have going on. Maybe you don't need Georgid to ignore the extra defense, but it will make him more consistent because when his passive doesn't process, he'll just, absolutely smack and possibly just do pure damage, which is absolutely nuts. But ignoring defense is a good way to deal with your damage dealers. Generally, with Arena, you are looking to build a strategy. And honestly, there's really just kind of 2 strategies to Arena. Are you going first or are you not going first? If you're going first, you're building a speed team, which means you're looking for a couple things. You are looking for a speed aura and a champion that is very fast, such as my Arbiter right here, who is 362 speed. Some people might say, wow, that is absolutely amazingly fast. And some people might say, wow, that is amazingly slow. And that's going to depend on where your gear is. But the faster you can make your Arbiter, the better. My Arbiter, I recently did redo her. She was about 100 and not 100. She was around 335-ish speed, maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less. I don't remember the exact number, but I redid her recently just because I was talking with a friend and said, hey, I should double check and see if I have any good Arbiter gear left. So forever your speed champion is going to be, you're going to want to regularly go in and look and see what some of the fastest gear you have on your account for various things that you're going to use for them. See, I've got a triple speed roll on this helmet here. It's only a 5-star, but triple speed roll, plus I got some glyphs on as well. That's 22 speed. It's going to be hard to beat on this account for a little while. This shield here, triple roll in a 6-star piece. So I've got 23, plus I've got a 5 point on the glyph here. Here's a triple roll on a flat attack thing. Some of the gear that gives you a bonus speed, such as the feral gear that has this 5% speed, roll up some of this flat stat stuff that has speed, because you never know, you might get lucky. And if you get lucky where it hits 3 into a particular thing, but you don't get any good stat, you can always mythically ore something like this, especially something like feral where you don't get a lot of feral. Or if I had missed on speed, I might have used a mythic ore on this just to see if I could have gotten a more useful set of gloves. But I hit triple speed on this thing. This has got 22 speed, a couple of extra decent stats. The attack I don't really care about on my Arbiter. If I would like this to be defense or HP. It doesn't really matter when speed is all that I'm really caring about with Arbiter. Same with this here. This is a quad speed 5-star piece. Don't throw away your 5-star speed pieces, particularly the legendary stuff, and maybe even some of the epic stuff, until you roll it up and see how many times you're going to hit speed. That said, you've got something like, this one here. This might get sold on my account at some point in time soon. It has got a single hit in speed. It's got some resistance, and so maybe it might go on a champion I need to make faster with speed set, but eventually only 9 points of speed. I can outdo that with a single hit on like this piece right here. It only needs to hit speed once or just get a glyph and it could be better. And if I double hit crit rate, it's going to be a 6-star piece where I can glyph it up higher and have other stats that will be better. So at some point in time, you're going to want to focus on the 6-star stuff. But like, hey, this is mythical. So I've already got a single hit in speed on this shield, and this shield is going to be better than this shield because it already is faster. And then if I hit speed at least once more, it's going to be a lot faster. And that's kind of how you broom your speed pieces up, is you find the right stuff, you build it up. And then when you're building your speed champions, keep in mind the sets that are going to give you bonus speed. So what I will often do is we'll go in here and give me all 5 of these pieces here. We're going to priority this for speed. It doesn't really matter if that's the only priority. And then we are going to hide set filters so we can kind of see what the fastest gear I have at any particular bit is. And then we are also going to look at equipped. So I can take a look here and see, like, for example, I have this on my Lamasu. That is certainly a little bit better than the one I've got here on my Arbiter, to the fact that if I'm losing the speed stat, I'm still only losing 1 piece of speed. Maybe I might want to put this on my Arbiter instead of my Lamasu, but then I would need to replace one of these other pieces of feral because I'm losing out on some speed on something else. I would need to get more speed set or just find enough feral pieces to just overwhelm it otherwise. Maybe I might use these speed pieces here from Morgana. But Morgana is one of my speed champions, so, I could certainly focus on getting much, much faster. In fact, if we were to go into the fitting room here, which is something I should have done, we try these 2 pieces on here, I can make my Arbiter another 15 speed faster. But that's certainly going to impact other champions, so it's going to be up to you. It's nice to put up the fastest speeds you possibly can, but going in here like this and taking a look at what other pieces you have and how fast they might be is kind of, gonna help you out overall. I look at this thing here and I've got 24 speed on this resistance chest. This is a really good chest. And it's barely faster than the chest I currently have on my Arbiter, because, well, I'm gonna lose 19 speed out of it if I swap it on her. But it's nice to know that I can build to champion like this. And so you put these things together. Sometimes you steal from champions you want to, sometimes you steal from champions you don't want to, but it's nice to be able to put together some of these great speed sets. And that's generally how you're going to do it. You can also use something like the Hell Hades Optimizer and just tell it to give you speed and not care about anything else. It'll do a good job of trying to mix and match things for you. But honestly, I kind of like the human touch of going in here and just, sort everything by speed, show me everything. I know the sets that are working for you. And in fact, here, like I said, this has got 23 speed plus a 5. This is already 24 speed. This could technically roll a little bit more. I probably should roll that up and probably will next time there's a gear enhancement event because that's going to be a lot of points. Yeah, if this hits speed one more time, this may be Arbiter's new chest. No, pretty much full stop. And if not, I'll probably find somebody else to stick this chest on because this is still a really, really good chest. But because it's also a resistance chest, this may end up on champion I need with some extra resistance as well as speed as well as accuracy because it is also a feral set as well. But finally, we got the boots. And the trick with the boots is literally just get speed ascension. There is 12 free speed here on every boot if you can get the ascensions. And that's going to either be by just flat out sending it, or as you can see here, I reworked this one 7 times to get that speed. So I will look for speed boots, I will ascend them, and in fact, one of the easiest things to do is literally just go into your boots, find all your speed boots, even look at the equipped ones, shrink that there, go down to speed, and here, I've got a bunch of 6-star speed boots. If I ever get a quest where I need to ascend a piece of gear, hey, maybe I'll go in and see if I can hit speed on this particular piece of boots. And if I hit speed on it, then they're probably coming off my Broadmaw and going on somebody I need to go a little bit faster. As you can see here on my Morgaine, I've got speed boots here. These are actually really nice boots that I would love to get on a damage dealer possibly. For now, they're 2 of my fastest boots are these boots and these boots here. So they're on 2 of my fastest champions. In fact, here you can even see I do have another champion that has a fully ascended, but these aren't speed. I was fishing for speed, but I didn't get it. So at some point in time, this may get reworked, and eventually you'll get some speed on it. But ascending for speed can make your boots so strong. Don't forget to do the ascensions to be able to speed up your champions. And then finally, for the accessories, sometimes these accessories really don't matter other than I've got 2 pinpoint pieces that gives me an extra 10% speed. So I can get 10% extra speed from 2 pinpoint pieces. If I only had, for example, 1 feral piece down here, if this was a feral banner, that would give me 5% extra speed. It's how you use these sets to stack the speed up is great. And what sets are great for speed? Well, obviously the speed set is going to be great for you. You can certainly use the perception set because perception is going to give you that 5% extra speed. Instinct is good for speed, although that's a 12% on a 20% on 4-piece, and that's going to ignore defense. So probably not something you're going to use on a lot of your speed champions here. Protection is actually really good for speed because you get 12% at 3-piece and 12% at 5-piece and another 8% at the 8-piece. Which means that these are going to be almost as good as 6-piece speed set, but you also get bonus HP, bonus resistance, and the protected buffs as well. So building fast champions and protection is a very viable way to go. Other sets that can be helpful, Zeal is pretty good. Impulse is very good. Impulse is got your 12% extra speed here. It's speed set with a chance to reduce cooldowns as well. That's very powerful. We have the resilience set on here somewhere. I don't know if I have any resilience. Resilience is a forge pass set that gives you a bunch of speed as well as a bunch of resistance, so that can be very good as well. Supersonic has a very similar setup to protection, a little less speed on the 3 and the 6 pieces, but more on the 12 piece, so it ends up being about the same. There are ways to get additional speed. So looking for some of these pieces to build them is going to be great. And if you're struggling to build speed, then maybe you start looking for a go second team of some kind. But I honestly recommend building 2 or 3 good speed boosting champions. So on my account here, I've got Arbiter, she's built. I've got Morgaine. She's built. She's super fast as well. As you can see, I've got her at 247 or 347, I should say. She needs some accuracy to be really good, so she is a little more limited, which is why she's not the fastest champion on my account. But she has a wonderful speed boost here that's also a turn meter control on the enemy as well, and gives you increased speed, making her a great speed champ for going first and making sure your team continues to go. But Donatello does a really great job with it. He's got a 20% turn meter boost right here. Make him super fast. He can be one of your turn meter boosters on your account. April, well, she doesn't have the turn meter boost, but she's got a turn meter decrease of 20% and a really good speed aura. That speed aura is not to be underestimated. And there's a reason I'm building April in this account. That speed aura could be absolutely clutch. Need another in emergency? Build a High Katoon. You get a High Katoon for free. And High Katoon, very good champion and a good early game speed booster. When I say early game speed booster, I'm talking you can use her for quite a long time until you finally get the legendaries that are going to surpass her. She's got the 15% turn meter boost and of course the increased speed as well. Here we go, 15% turn meter boost and increased speed as well. She also has turn meter decreasing, although that's only a 75% chance when booked, so not quite as good. You get a speed aura. It's not the best speed aura, but it's a speed aura. and she's got 104 base speed. She's not necessarily going to win the ultra endgame speed races for you, but you know what? If you're struggling in silver and in bronze, she could be faster than your enemy is, even with a good speed aura. And if you have a better aura, like you've got a Sun Wukong or an April O'Neil or somebody with a speed aura, she could easily be a speed lead that lets you win speed races and go first. Deacon Armstrong, another really good example. Apothecary is a functional rare that can do a very similar job to a High Katoon. There are plenty of speed champions in the game to help you boost your turn meter, and Arbiter is a free champion. So work your way towards getting Arbiter, and you can win some of these speed races. Are you looking to join me and have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends? Well, I've got the link for you. Use my link down below and get yourself a free Elenarl once you get through the tutorial. Elenarl is a great legendary, does a bunch of poisons, does irresistible burns, explodes those poisons, going to be very, very great for progressing in the early game, great for your clan boss team, will really, really help you out. And then at level 15, get yourself an Ugo. Ugo is absolutely amazing. She is one of the best endgame epics. She brings your block debuffs, she brings your decreased defense, she's got a heal and a cleanse, she's got leech on that A1, she is super tanky, she's got a chance to revive. Absolutely amazing epic for you. All you need to do is start a brand new account using a brand new fresh email and use my link down below. Get started in Raid and have some fun. You're not going to win every speed race, and it's nice to be able to have options for you. And in some cases, speed isn't going to be everything for you as well. So that is where things like Stone Skin can come in. Now, I've got Stone Skin on my Empress because he's the honestly one of the best damage dealers on this account at the moment, and I want to protect him. Plus, I've got him in lethal gear here as well. As you can see, his crit rate is way overkill, but it just let me make this build, so I'm kind of happy with it. And yeah, I got a blessing for him, which has been great. And I've got, you know, again, crit damage here. Got speed ascension on the boots right here, so he'll eventually get some faster. I've got the HP percent here in that, and that's going to help me good. Again, speed on everything if I can do it. Crit rate on things. He's built to nuke. He's built with 100% crit rate, and to be fair, I said he's built with way too much crit rate at the moment. I have not been able to bring that down just because the pieces are just too good in other ways. You know, he is built to be a nuker, and he is built to be tanky. So if you're going to build champions that are going to go second, you want to aim for tanky champions like your Empresses, like any other HP nuker. Tauruses work very well. You're going to want to use Stone Skin, leverage Stone Skin to be able to survive a couple of those attacks. But if you can't leverage Stone Skin, you can certainly try to leverage things like Reaction Gear. Reaction Gear is the, you know, the gear that lets you possibly take, and do I have any reaction gear? I've got reaction gear somewhere. So, yep, reaction gear here lets you have a chance of turning a critical hit into a normal hit if you have not taken your first turn. Reaction gear is very helpful for surviving in the arena, particularly for champions where, yes, they could be hit from out from under Stone Skin and you want them to be super tanky. Or sometimes you don't need Stone Skin on some of the tanky champions because if you get reaction gear on them, most of the time they don't get crit, so they can survive the hits and then, you know, be absolutely amazing. Harima in 3-piece reaction is really, really good in arena without Stone Skin, for example. You're also looking for champions to keep you alive. So maybe you're looking for like an Emmerich, for example, is actually usable in arena because he's going to put unkillable on all your champions. You've got Neve, the champion that puts block damage on a bunch of champions, can be very, very helpful. There's plenty of ways that you can build a super tanky team to go second. But honestly, I would recommend for your first team, just try to load up on 2, maybe 3 speed champions, try to go first, and build a team that tries to outspeed the opponent first, pulls the rest of your team along, and you get to go before the opponent does, because that is one of the easiest ways to quick farm the arena. So we've talked about speed champions, we've talked about champions that can kind of help you go second and survive, and we've talked about damage dealers. So what else is there in arena if you're not dealing with going first or damage dealers? Well, you really do want a really good support. With a really good support, you can go speed champion, second seed champion or support, another speed champion or support, and then a damage dealer, and you'll be good to go. What kind of supports are you looking for? Well, for example, Fabian is a great great support because Fabian is going to, with this ability right here, strip everybody of all their buffs so they can remove some of the things like, you know, your block damage or your unkillables or even stone skin in many cases. As long as it's not protected, that's a great way to get around some of those things you might struggle to get through otherwise. You know, that's where Sun Wukong can be very, very strong because he can steal all of those buffs as well and puts block buffs up there. So he can be a very good support champion or a really good damage dealer, or possibly both if you can actually build him to do all of that stuff. Donatello, we mentioned beforehand, but Donatello, in addition to the increased speed, is going to give you some healing and strengthen, which is going to keep you there, keep you strong and healthy. He removes all debuffs, so you get a cleanse, which can be very helpful. He also has, of course, the skill reset, which is pretty good, and increased speed. Those are useful support abilities. Lammasu, great support champion. She can be used as a speed champion because this can effectively instantly activate whatever champion you want to by giving them extra 50% turn meter and resets all their cooldowns, plus giving them intercept, which is great as well, and a cleanse. But she also has block buffs and a true fear, which can be very helpful. That can keep you in a lot of fights because true fear is actually a perfectly valid control mechanic in the arena. It's got the AoE decrease attack as well. Plus, when she puts, you know, debuffs up there, she can actually reduce turn meter and then permanently decrease resistance and accuracy as well. So she's got some good stuff as well as that good speed aura, which can be so helpful in the arena. You know, UDK is a good example of a champion that can help you survive early on because he basically, well, yeah, if he's the only one left, he gets more powerful, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the Too Awesome to Die, which basically has a chance to redirect every attack to him for the first hit of it if it's a single target attack. So a lot of single target, single hit attacks literally can't get through UDK or have to get through UDK first before they get to somebody else. Good set of utility, plus he can bring some shields and some continuous heals as well. So these are the type of things you're looking for. Even Valkyrie can be a fun support. She can do a bunch of turn meter control based off of people doing buffs. And that means she goes first, and then she can put up a big shield and a counterattack, which can be very disruptive in early game arena. Look to leverage your champions that do interesting things that can disrupt the enemy team. I mean, Godseeker could be a very good champion to use in arena early on, because the ability to revive somebody that dies gives you an ability to auto revive your squishiest champions so that they get a turn just with the passive. There's all kinds of cool things you can do in arena, but you really need to make a team, make a concept for that team, put them together and test them out. And really, that's what I'm hoping to encourage you guys to do. Doesn't matter if you can't hit 370 speed or 360 speed. If you can hit 310 speed with your Arbiter, there are teams you're going to be able to outspeed. If you can hit 330 with your Arbiter, there's a few more teams you'll be able to outspeed. Sometimes it's just going to be looking for those teams that don't have the speed leads or don't have other speed champions and then going after them. And sometimes you just, you know, take a shot and see, hey, maybe I'm going to be a little bit faster than this team, and if not, maybe I can still survive it. So when we're looking in the arena for fights that we can do, well, you're going to need to refresh occasionally. And I'm not saying necessarily use gems, but if you're going to be farming up these medals, you're going to need to be running arena somewhat regularly. So just be aware of that. You know, maybe put Raid on your phone and during a lunch break, you check the arena quickly and just see if you got some stuff there. You're going to want to start grinding this pretty often. But you're looking for things like these solo little defenses right here would be great. But for example, see this Bad Eld team right here? I've got a shot at that with my free to play. It's got a high total power. Nobody there is very dangerous other than maybe Cupidus. And I can remove Stone Skin because I've got a team that can help remove Stone Skin. Again, it's all about knowing your champions, knowing what you can do, and finding a good team for it. You know, I might be able to deal with this team because, well, if I can strip the Stone Skin off of UDK, I can make quick work of the other of UDK, and then I just need to make sure I kind of control the monkey here as well, and that's where like a Fabian can come in as well. So otherwise, you know, I'm going to pick this off right now because, hey, it is a free win, and take all of those free wins because that's part of the easiest way for you to get good stuff. And not finding these easy wins, well, that's where getting into Gold 5 is one of the best things you can do. Push yourself up to Gold 5. If you have to set a real defense, set that real defense, regularly grind arena, and push yourself up to gold 5, because once you get in gold 5, you can find arena defenses like this most refreshes, especially if you are lower on the scale of arena points. And as far as an arena defense is concerned, my advice for keeping an arena defense is to keep an okay arena defense. As you can see here, I've got Morgaine, one of my better speed champs. I have Artor, who is built as a speed champion, but he's not, the most competitive in arena with the current build. I've got Quintus, who can be an arena nuker, and I've got Cleopteryx, who I was using as an arena nuker in a couple of rare occasions early on because I had her and she's fully booked. This is not a great team, but this is also a team that is not going to just instantly lose 20 battles and I'm going to fall out of arena with where I'm at. So if I go to the battle log here, defeat, 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 lots of defeat here. Ooh, I won one. Yay. For the most part, I'm getting beaten in arena on defense by most people, and that's going to keep me lower. So that's good. If you're going to be active enough in arena to be able to run a one-man defense, that's great. But a one-man defense is going to get pounded on regularly, so you're going to drop pretty quickly. Eventually, you will hit a bottom on this. So finding the happy medium for how often you want to play arena, how strong your champions are, and basically what you want to do to not fall out of gold 5 is going to be a bit of a balancing act. Endgame accounts, hey, if you can throw in a single champion defense for a while, it's great. Those of us farming appreciate it, and honestly, it will keep you rather low, which means you'll get a lot of the weaker teams anyway, which is absolutely amazing. Also, don't be afraid to set presets for some of these champions, because some of these champions just are not particularly bright. Just looking here, I don't think I've set them. Arbiter does a good job of doing what she needs to do. Morgaine does. Granite, for the most part. The problem is Granite is very situational. The times I want to use this before I use this are very dependent on what the other team is doing and where he went in the order as well. So it's kind of hard to pre-program him. On the other hand, Empress, he won't transform if I don't program him to transform. So generally I have him do this ability here, which can do some damage, but also is going to remove the stone skin, put some fears up, swap a bunch of debuffs and buffs, give some turn meter steal. Overall, just a good ability overall. Then I will have him do the decrease attack and fear, get the extra turn, and then transform, where I will then do the atomize. And then if people are still standing, I can do the swap life, and then the atomize should maybe come back, because right now it's on a 3-turn cooldown. This is going to effectively make it a 2-turn cooldown. So if I did enough damage to possibly drop that an extra cooldown, I can do atomize, your life is forfeit, and atomize again, and Empress is back to his big nuke. And from there, I don't really want him changing back, so I probably should actually turn off his ability to metamorphosize back. But Empress, by default, won't change into his second form. Really don't understand why, Polarium, but it's very frustrating. So make sure you set these champions, know what they do on defense on auto, and make sure you set the team so that they do what you want them to do when they're on auto. There you have it, a comprehensive guide for things that you can do to make your arena teams better. One of the final tips I want to give you guys is make sure you are constantly checking your gear on your best champions. I sat for a long time with the ability to make my Arbiter faster and didn't, because I just didn't bother to look. And in some cases, it was because I was just too busy doing other things like doing fusions and doing other stuff like that. And sometimes, yes, I needed to roll up the gear and I was waiting for gear roll up and enhancement quests, but sometimes you just gotta rebuild these champions. And since there is no longer any gear penalty for rebuilding these champions, play around with your builds quite a bit. Use a build, give it a try, see what you think about it, and then try something else, use it a little bit, see what you think about that. And maybe you might find that, hey, I thought this build would be bad, but it turns out I'm doing as much damage as I needed to do, so I can lose a little bit of damage and get more speed, for example. Could be a viable strategy to be able to win in the arena. It's actually pretty impressive. I know I actually dropped the damage on several of my champions on my main because the advice of Big Papa Drock, who did a great video on that, it actually helped me out quite a bit. Guys, appreciate y'all. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. You guys are absolutely amazing. Let me know what you're using in the arena, what your strategies are, and what your thoughts are on grinding Classic Arena. And again, this stuff can be used for making a live arena team as well, but I wanted to kind of keep it simple. And honestly, a lot of this stuff will work just fine in Tag Team Arena as well. Don't ignore Classic Arena. There's plenty of cool things to unlock with Classic Arena, and it can make your account more powerful by playing it. So, appreciate you guys. You all have a wonderful day, and until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.